Have you ever had a brilliant plan, a perfect strategy, but you just couldn't start? Well, we're about to dive into a powerful principle from the samurai that's designed to solve that exact problem. That frustrating gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it.
I mean, this just hits home, right? It's a feeling so many of us know. You've got the blueprint, you have the skills, the whole plan is laid out perfectly. But when it's time to take that first step, nothing. You're just frozen. It's this bizarre paralysis, and man, it can be incredibly demotivating.
You know, the ancient samurai didn't just understand this gap between knowing and doing. They saw it as a critical enemy. They actually gave it a name, and if we're going to defeat it, we first have to understand what it is. They called this state Udan. Now, this isn't just laziness, not exactly. It's a really specific kind of negligence, one that's born from comfort, from a false sense of security. It's that dangerous, empty space that opens up between having a thought and actually taking that first step.
To really understand the true danger of Udan, we need a story. And this is the tale of a gifted young samurai whose greatest strength, his incredible talent, ironically became the source of his biggest failure.
So, let me introduce you to Teeshi. By all accounts, this guy was a prodigy. He absolutely crushed his training, graduated at the top of his class. His future looked brighter than anyone's. He was the literal definition of potential. But his master gave him this kind of cryptic warning, one that Teeshi didn't really get at the time. He said, "Victory is the moment of greatest danger." Why? Well, because victory, it has a way of making you complacent. It makes you soft. And yep, that's exactly what happened. Teeshi's success led him straight into Udan. He started to believe his own hype, you know? He felt like he had arrived, and so he began putting off his training, thinking his past wins were enough to carry him. He got comfortable.
Then came the true test. And we're not talking about some training dojo. This was a real battle. He's standing face to face with an enemy. The moment for action is right there. But instead of that swift, decisive move he was famous for, Teeshi just froze.
3 seconds. That's all it took. Just think about that. 1, 2, 3. In that tiny little window, that gap between his thought and his action became a fatal chasm. And the cost of that hesitation was just absolute. A comrade fell. A life was lost. All because of a 3-second delay. This is the devastating real-world price of Udan. Now, Teeshi's failure is a brutal lesson. But here's the thing. Buried inside of it is the solution. The antidote to this paralysis isn't more motivation or more planning. It's a specific, decisive technique. The art of the cut. The antidote is Ketsudan. And if you look at the characters, the meaning becomes so clear. Ketsu means to cut or decide. Dan is judgment. So Ketsudan is literally the art of cutting through your own judgment, of slicing through that doubt before it can even take root. So, this is the crucial point. This contrast right here. Udan is passive negligence. It's letting comfort create a dangerous delay. Ketsudan is an active, immediate decision. It's the conscious choice to slam that gap shut the second it appears. So how did Teeshi learn to practice Ketsudan? Through a simple, super humbling routine. Waking up at 4 a.m., cleaning the dojo. These weren't punishments, this was training. Each little task was an exercise in immediate action, designed to build the habit of acting before his ego, before his mind had a chance to start negotiating.
Okay, so this is where this ancient principle becomes incredibly relevant for our modern lives. See, Chidi's real battle wasn't with the enemy on the field. It was with the enemy inside his own head. And that, right there, is a battle we all face.
Because here is the big takeaway for you and me. That space between knowing what you need to do and actually doing it, that's not a pause button. It's a graveyard. It's where our potential, our goals, and our dreams go to die.
So the principle of Ketsudan gives us this powerful new mantra. We have to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop debating with ourselves. The rule is simple. Decide once, then execute immediately. You have to cut the doubt.
So as we finish this up, I'll leave you with this question. Think of one thing you've been putting off. One area where Udan has started to creep in. What is the one doubt, the one hesitation you are going to cut through today?